I believe that religion is, generally speaking, a civilizing influence, but that not everything about civilization is good. With civilization comes organized warfare, institutionalized violence, and inevitable pollution. Some people blame religion for those problems, and I think that to some degree that blame is valid. But it seems to me that the amount which this is true is often overstated. As far as I can tell, these problems arise as a consequence of social order combined with human nature. In the past century, the Soviet Union and China both organized for war, practiced institutionalized violence, and have been responsible for a great deal of pollution. They were both ostensibly atheist. So I think there's more going on with the onset of these three problems than to blame religion exclusively. I have seen it argued that the ill effects that such countries had in the 20th century were because the state was too much like religion and not too little. I am sensitive to that line of reasoning, but if even nominally atheist countries end up with state worship, and that can reasonably be compared to religion, then it seems that there is a basic component in human nature that drives this religious desire. So it is not, in that case, the institutions of religion themselves that are the primary cause of the problems of civilization. I also believe government is a civilizing influence, and that it should be held responsible to a great degree for organized warfare, institutionalized violence, and inevitable pollution. Where I find many people are willing to overstate the responsibility with regard to religion, I find the tendency reversed with an underestimate of government's culpability for these problems. I advocate for limiting government, not its abolition, in much the same way I wish to see fundamentalism curbed without destroying the good that religion does. The existence of a state can help bring and maintain both organization and specialization. A problem that I see is that when the state is venerated to such a degree that there is no room for criticism, it makes other problems that it creates difficult or impossible to address. But I do think that social order and the things that can be accomplished with a great deal of organization and specialization outweigh the difficulties that come with civilizing influences and civilization in general. That encourages me to study the various religions that have survived to this day because they have and continue to show success at promoting social order. I also try to remain informed about what governments are doing and the limits of what they can do to see what order they do promote. In my opinion, humanity will not stay at the level at which we are if we forget how we got here, what works, and what doesn't. There are, of course, other civilizing influences, and they as well help to maintain the advances in our society and perhaps even to progress. But to the degree that they promote social order, they must also be held accountable for war, violence, and pollution that it brings. That seems to be the price of civilization.